Only a few months ago, European leaders were promising a new era of defence. Every capital announced new spending targets, new tanks, new jets. The EU launched its Rearm Europe initiative, and headlines spoke of a continent finally awakening to danger. But the momentum has slowed. Europe's rearmament drive is stalling, not because of money, but because of division. Let's look at why. The first problem is coordination. The EU has big plans. A European drone defence initiative, an air shield, a space shield. But almost immediately, disagreements erupted. France and Germany want control of procurement. Eastern members want the Commission to coordinate everything. Everyone wants to lead, but few want to follow. The EU's goal is for 40% of defence procurement to be joint by 2027. Yet national industries protect their own turf, guarding contracts and jobs. Europe talks about unity, but acts as 27 competing arms dealers. The most painful example is the Future Combat Air System, the French-German fighter jet project. It was meant to symbolise Europe's defence future. Instead, it's become a symbol of distrust. Contractors argue. Governments accuse each other of sabotage. The project barely moves forward. It shows how fragile the idea of European defence cooperation still is. Brussels can fund projects, but it cannot manufacture trust. Then comes the money problem. Europe's budgets are exhausted after years of crises: pandemic, energy, inflation. Governments have little left to spend, and defence now competes with social priorities. Germany faces its debt break. France's deficit keeps rising. Italy has no fiscal space at all, yet the spending promises keep coming. NATO members have pledged to spend 5% of GDP on defence. On paper, that's huge. In reality, it's scattered across dozens of national programmes, each duplicating the other. Europe is spending more, but getting less. A German Leopard tank now costs 29 million euros, 7 times what Russia spends on its main battle tank. That's not because of quality. It's because Europe's production is fragmented, every country building its own version. The result? Small batches, high costs, and armies that can't even share spare parts. Even if Europe fixes the hardware, there's still the human problem. Conscription ended across the continent decades ago. Today, few young Europeans are eager to enlist. Germany's plan for a voluntary draft faces political resistance. Poland can't fill its ranks. Sweden may even raise its conscription age to 70 for former officers. Europe is rearming without soldiers. It's a sign not of weakness, but of disconnection. A society that talks about war but hasn't prepared for it emotionally. And that leads to the deeper question: strategic autonomy. The EU keeps saying it wants to defend itself without depending on Washington. But every critical system, every intelligence line, still runs through the United States. Even Europe's most ambitious defence programmes rely on NATO infrastructure, which means American command and logistics. So despite all the talk of sovereignty, the continent remains dependent. Europe is discovering the hardest truth of all. It can spend billions, build weapons, even talk tough. But until it can agree on what it's defending and who will fight for it, strategic autonomy remains a slogan. The rearmament of Europe isn't failing because of enemies. It's failing because of politics. If Europe cannot build unity out of urgency, its great rearmament may one day be remembered not as a turning point, but as another missed opportunity. If you enjoyed this analysis, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and visit WesternRelations.com for more political insight from a European perspective. Thank you for watching.